Hello there and welcome to Stamping with Val. I'm back today with another card tutorial, and today I'm going to be sharing this birthday card with you. I've used the new Banners for You stamp set and I've coupled it with the Crazy About You sentiment set for the happy birthday sentiment on there. Okay, we've got a fun colour combination. We've got the black and white for the chalkboard look, and just a really cheerful, fun birthday card. So let's go ahead and make this card today. I'm going to start making this card with the banner part. Actually, I want to get that bit done first. So I've got some basic black cardstock, just a scrap from my stash, and I've got all my heat embossing supplies. Try and make some room for them so it's all on the screen. So I've got my Versamark ink, I've got some white embossing powder, and I've got a little plastic tray which I can catch all the excess in and pour it back into the pot. We're using this big sort of double duo banner with the two bits to work with, and I've got that all mounted up onto my block and ready to use. So I'm going to start by inking the Stamp Up using Versamark ink. So this is clear ink. You can use it for a watermark look, but you can also use it because it stays wet a little bit longer than your average ink pad. It gives you long enough to sprinkle embossing powder onto it. So I'm going to stamp this up here. Straight down, bit of a firm press all over. I'm going to heat emboss the banner part first so that I can see it clearly, and then add and heat emboss the message afterwards. So hopefully that's all stamped well. So here's my tray and my white embossing powder. So I'm just going to sprinkle it all over. Doesn't matter how much you use because you're going to catch the excess and put it back in the pot, so that's fine. Okay. Okay, the trick with heat embossing is not to handle the piece of card you want to heat emboss onto too much. If you do, all the oils and greases from your fingers transfer onto the card, and the embossing powder is inclined to stick to that as well as the Versamark image, and it can all get a bit messy. If you do have any stray bits, a good tap will get most of them off. And if you've got any in a nasty place, I'm okay today, you can get a fine paintbrush, a dry paintbrush, and just sort of flick them off out of the way if you need to. Now normally I don't heat emboss in here. I normally heat emboss in my kitchen because I've got more room, because my craft room's always a mess. But I've set it up just for you guys. So I found a plug. I've got it all set up. So here we are, we're going to heat the gun up, holding it a couple of inches above your project and keeping it moving so you don't burn the card or the powder. You just keep going, and as you emboss and heat it up, the powder melts and you'll see it go all shiny and glossy. And when it's gone all shiny and glossy and doesn't look powdery anymore, then it's done. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so my banner's going to go this way up on my card. Slide that into there. So I want to put my happy birthday in here. So the Banners for You stamp set came with a happy to go with an anniversary, but there's no birthday actually in this stamp set. There's another stamp set that coordinates with the dies that does have a happy birthday in it, but I don't have that. But I did find that the Crazy About You stamp set, lots of these sentiments all fit inside those banners as well. So this is a great sort of coordinating stamp set to go along with it. So I've gone ahead and I've mounted my happy and my birthday onto another block, and I've curved them ever so slightly. Because they're photopolymer, you can do that. You can just give them a little bit of shape to them, and I've curved them slightly to fit in with the shape of the banners themselves, so it looks like they're flowing with the banner. So bringing my heat embossing supplies back in, Okay, because I'm going to heat emboss these as well. I'm going to start with the happy. Trying to make sure I'm on the screen. I'm going to pop that in there. And I'm going to do the birthday at the same time and then just put the embossing powder on once. So the birthday can go in that one. Hopefully. So more embossing powder over those. So again, give them a tap. There we are. It's not very great on my happy actually. I'll put a bit more on, see if it'll come out a bit better. I might have over tapped it. There we go, not bad. Embossing powder everywhere, but hey ho. So now I'll go ahead and heat emboss that as well. So once that's all melted, you can go ahead and die cut that out using the coordinating die set, which I can't remember what they're called at the moment, and your Big Shot. So I went ahead and cut that out. I actually had the dies right next to me. They're the bunch of banners framelits that coordinate with that stamp set. So I used the, like I say, the duo banner from there to die cut that out with my Big Shot. Okay, so that's all ready for me to use now to start doing the rest of my cards. If I bring that back in so you can see it, we're going to start with a card base. This is the thick Whisper White A4. There's a shocker, eh? If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I must buy this by the truckload. Okay, unusually though, this is the other way. So this is half a sheet of A4 cut in half from the long side down the short side and scored through the middle. So I've actually got a landscape card base today. Okay, and we're kind of going to use this to work out where we're going to position all the flowers and leaves and things and what have you. So the leaves and bits and bobs that I'm using are in the stamp set as well. So I'm using this leaf here, I'm using this flower, these little dots and this circle over here. But this is actually images at 75%, so they're all a little bit bigger than you can see there. So here they are, all on their blocks. And this is the colour combination that I'm using today. So we've got Bermuda Bay, Pool Party, Peekaboo Peach and Melon Mambo. I'm going to start with the Pool Party and I'm going to get all those sort of leafy elements underneath, stamped underneath my banner. Now you're going to think the way I'm doing this is a bit strange, but I do it this way for a reason. One thing you could do is you could die cut a banner from a piece of copy paper or from like a post-it note, stick it on as a mask and then stamp all around it and over it, and then when you're finished you can peel it off and take it away and put this banner over the top. The reason I'm not doing that is because I don't like the fact that then when you look underneath the banner you've put on top, you can see that all the stamping stops. For this particular card, I want it to look like the banner is sat on top of all those things. So that look doesn't work. But that does mean we're going to have to kind of faff about working out where we want it and moving things. So I'm going to go ahead and say, right, I want one there, move it out of the way. Oh, I have to do better stamping than that. Hang on. Clear stamp so I can go over the top. Okay, and another one sort of next to it, I think. Okay, I'm generally copying this one over here, to be honest with you. So then I've got one coming out like that. Okay, another one over here, like so. One coming off of this bit of banner here. That. I'm sort of rushing this. You would obviously take a little bit more time over it, but I'm rushing it a little bit for the video. and one like there. One kind of coming off that way, and some coming off this edge as well. So one like that, maybe one like that, something like that. Okay. So that kind of looks okay. That's all right. You can add as many leaves or bits of branches coming off as you like. That's up to you. But that's okay for now. And then we need all our other elements. Now our other elements are cut out, so we're just going to stamp them onto scraps. So we're going to use the Melon Mambo with this sort of tulipy flowery thing. And I've done 4 of those. I'm going to have fallen off the screen, haven't I? And go ahead and stamp up 4 of those. The little circle is done in the Bermuda Bay. So let me made a right mess of this block. And we've got 3 of those, okay. Right, so the little 3 dots are done in the peach, and they are actually directly onto the card, but I'll fit those in afterwards once I'm happy with where the rest of it is. So we need to go ahead and we need to cut these bits out. So I've gone ahead and cut 3 of those out. They just have to be hand cut, I'm afraid. There's no die to go with these, so get your sharpest scissors. The Stampin' Up paper snips are obviously super for this. I'm leaving, you can't see, the problem is I've only got short arms, so it means I'm cutting at arm's length. I can't see what I'm doing because I've got terrible eyesight as well. To keep it on the screen. If I'm going to keep on with videos, I might have to get a better video setup, I think. I'm doing this one very roughly, I'll warn you now, but I'm keeping just a faint, thin white border all the way around. Okay, I've done it really quick for you guys. Okay, the circle ones, you could cut those by hand, but that's even worse, quite frankly. But what I found was that actually the largest circle on the owl punch is actually just a nice size to cut those out. So if you just, whee, and if you don't mind bits flying everywhere, obviously. There we go. And then find the bits you want. Get rid of all the rest of it, obviously. All of that over there, out of the way. So those are the pieces we want. So I think we're on to assembly now. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put the banner on. To give it extra dimension, I decided that I would have the banner at a slightly different level to the flower pieces. So to stick the banner down, I've actually used this new, these strips of foam adhesive that are designed like for shaker cards and things like that, because it's ever so slightly higher than the dimensionals. Now that's deliberate to give extra room for the shakers, so that's great. But also it means that I can just give this ever such a slightly higher element than the flowers. So taking the backing off, I'm going to position it where I want it. On my card. That looks about right. Now for the flowery bits and the circly bits, I am going to use dimensionals for those. But because these are small, you just want little silly edge pieces. You don't want a whole dimensional. So I hope you keep all those edges from the dimensionals. Once you've taken all the hexagon dimensionals out, I hope you hold on to all those edges and use those, because they're actually brilliant. So I'm just going to cut some little bits to go on the backs of my circles. 1, 2, 3. Then we can go ahead and put these where we want them to. Like that. And over there. One in this gap. And one in there. These ones are in here. Yeah. And here. And then when you've done those, we can go ahead and pop those little circular dots. We're sort of going to pop those into the little gaps basically. So I'm just going to go ahead and add them, well, anywhere I like basically. You can add them anywhere you like. And there, and here, and in there. And then I haven't brought them over, but I've just finished it off with a smattering of rhinestone gems. So I've gone ahead and put a rhinestone gem in each of the circles. I think that's the largest one, and then use some of the two smaller sizes just on the card base as a little bit of extra interest. So there's today's happy birthday card, using the new banners for you and combining it with the Crazy About You sentiment set that fit beautifully inside the banners. I hope you've enjoyed today's card, and I hope you'll come back soon for more. Thanks for watching. Bye.